What phrase did you hear only once, but it stayed with you forever?
You can't unring a bell. They were talking about when you say or do things that are hurtful to others.
My high school history teacher told us speak carefully to others. You can't undrive the nail. The hole will always remain. Someone may forgive you, but the damage is done. The hole will remain.
Attack the problem, not the person.
You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Edit, thanks for all love. I am glad it helps. I only wish the man who taught me this was still of sound mind to understand his impact on me, and now others' Alzheimer's sucks. While
I cannot tell you how many times over the last few years I have had to stop and physically tell myself that it's not my job to make sure anyone understands anything. Help me put down my phone a number of times and just breath.
experience is the hardest teacher because it gives the test first and the lesson afterwards.
In a similar vein, life's too short to only learn from your mistakes. Y'all have to learn from other people's mistakes as well.
Don't confuse being needed with being valued. Sometimes, a man on the right track gets hit by a train on the wrong one.
It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Jean-Luc Picard.
Don't believe everything you think.
Not everyone you lose is a loss.
This is good advice, especially for people going through a life change. Growing up, moving, graduating, switching jobs, etc. A lot of people have drifted out of my life over the years, and a lot more made me sad at the time than were actually worth getting sad about. A few departures might even been worthy of celebration, but it didn't feel that way in the moment.
Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. Poster in my 5th grade teacher's class. I am now 35.
When I lived in NYC, I saw a business guy hand a big wad of cash to a man digging in a trash can. The business guy just did it quickly and moved on. I think I was the only person who noticed. It was clear he did this often. So I started doing it, albeit with smaller wads. Didn't tell anyone. Not my wife or a friend. It was my little secret, and I still feel good about it 10 years later.
I don't remember the exact words, but it went something like this: the way you talk to scold your kids is the voice and tone they will learn to talk to themselves in. I became a much better parent after I realized how true that was. And I have made sure that any tone I take with my kids is loving and positive.
Similarly, I've read, your anger becomes their anxiety. As a new mom who was raised by an angry father and struggles with anxiety, it is a perspective I am glad I came upon early. It has redirected both how I speak to her and what I'll allow her to be exposed to. You are under no obligation to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm.
I saw this one once on Reddit. And damn, it meant so much at the time. I cut out a lot of people from my life after that.
Grief is just love with nowhere to go.
There have been a few similar phrases about grief that have stuck with me. The culmination of love is grief. And yet we love despite the inevitable. We open our hearts to it. To grieve deeply is to have loved fully. But what is grief but love persevering? Both tore me to pieces and have stuck with me as I've lost people close to me.
If you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
You miss 100 of the shots you don't take in a different form.
Just because you lost me as a friend doesn't mean you gain me as an enemy. I still want to see you eat. Just not at my table. Rachel, this is for you.
If he was the kind of dad that left, imagine how much worse he would have been if he stayed. Edit. Referring to deadbeat dads who decide to have children but leave their partner as a single parent and come and go out of their children's lives without putting any effort into raising their kids. Not dads who have left a relationship divorced but still co-parent. Nor passed away. Thank you sugar sweet star UK. You Professor Ian Duncan and you Nyan Don helping to rephrase.
Well, that is so good. Thank you.
It was a mountain to cross. Not Carrie, I read this on Instagram, and it was honestly so calming.
It was a lesson, not a life sentence.
When an old man dies, a library burns. This sums up my father so well, I can't believe I didn't hear that saying until my 40s.
In the absence of communication, the void is filled with negativity.
Kind of the antithesis of no news is good news, which is also a true and valuable phrase, just in different circumstances.
You are not responsible for the version of you someone made up in their head.
In the same vein, don't get mad when people don't stick to the script you wrote unless you're a screenplay writer.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of progress.
Ooh, I've heard it, don't get perfect, be the enemy of good.
Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Behavior unchallenged is behavior accepted.
Another way I say this described is when you let things slide, it means the other person doesn't know you're upset. Really hit home for me.